Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your multimedia project instructional video. So I'm just going to do what I usually do. I'll walk through the guidelines and expectations, I'll show you some examples, and all of this information will be available on D2L whenever you want to review it, check back, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to jump right in. All right, this is the handout that has all of the important information. So ultimately, what is our goal? We really want to create a project that is approaching our topic of food, but you are choosing something a bit more specific under that large umbrella of a topic of food, in thinking about something that we've addressed this semester. So you can creatively approach a topic that you're interested in through various methods. You can create a video, you can draw something, create a sculpture or PowerPoint, this is not an exhaustive list. If you think of something you'd like to do that is not listed anywhere in this document or that I touch upon in this video, that is fine. I want you to do whatever it is you would like to do on a topic related to food that connects to something we've read, watched, listened to this semester. The only requirement that you have to think about is that this needs to be something you can actually upload and share in D2L. So that may limit in some ways the kind of project, but we can work around a lot of it. So just keep that in mind. We will be sharing our multimedia projects in the discussion area, so you'll need to be able to upload a document or a PowerPoint or have a link to a YouTube video, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. All right, and I've put a note here. This really is about showing effort, and I mentioned it's about the progress, not the perfection, because a lot of times students will say, well, I would really like to try painting, but I'm not a very good painter, or something that you're not an expert at. And that's kind of what the goal is here, is to explore something that you would like to. I don't look at the finished product and think, oh, this is really poorly done. I want to look at the effort you put into it. So you'll want to show your progress on this and not worry too much about the end result. I'll get into that a bit more. All right, so the requirements. The project does need to be focused on one issue or text, or video or anything that we have examined in the class, but it does need to relate to food, right? Because that is our theme for the course. I put a little note here. If you connected more to a text about writing, you can go in that direction if you'd like. So think of the different articles or chapters. But of course, food is our theme. So I hope you have a wealth of things you would like to pull from in terms of what we've talked about this and read about and written about this semester. But if you really connected with something that was more about writing, then definitely go with that. I put here, for example, if you want to think about Choi's article and her ideas related specifically to food as community and how that relates to your own experiences, you can create a PowerPoint that does that, right? You can, have images of family gatherings or images of your family in the kitchen creating something or out at a memorable celebratory meal, a PowerPoint that collects those kinds of photos, like a photo album, right? If you want to create a piece of artwork that depicts a meal from a food memory, so these are just possibilities. You do need to be able to show it on D2L, which is what I mentioned before. So it does need to fall within the confines of a PowerPoint, a Word file, or a YouTube link. And I put YouTube because sometimes students upload a video file, but we can't open it. So if a majority of your audience can't open the work that you've created, we want to avoid that, right? Especially if I can't open it and can't give you a grade, right? I put a note here, do not offer a link for a document. Do not offer a link to Google Docs or anything like that, because again, we want to make sure this is accessible to everybody. Note that part of the project is showing what you've done. So if you create a piece of artwork, take pictures at various stages and put those together in a PowerPoint. I'm gonna say most people choose PowerPoint for the overall medium because it's an easy way to show your progress. It's an easy way to share in a manner that is something that everybody can open in the class. So just keep that in mind. But people also enjoy creating videos or Word files, of course. So if you write a poem, or fan fiction, show your edits and revisions so we can understand, all the work you put into the project. So again, this goes back to showing your effort, okay? So, it's a writing class, y'all, so there's going there's going to be a writing element. So we do have some paragraphs we need to focus on. And in fact, a majority of the grade for this assignment will be part of, those paragraphs are part of that grade. On the left-hand side, I do just have some images here of different projects. I just wanted to show you examples of, this is a progress picture from somebody's PowerPoint. She and her family were making pupusas. This is a progress picture from somebody who was doing an art project. And this is, an image that was put together in a PowerPoint by a student who wanted to write a short story. Okay, I'm going to get into the writing, but I also want to talk about some examples just because that just really helps, right? So the first is based on a literature class, but it gives you an idea. So I'm going to open this YouTube link. So this is a video, oops, sorry, let me pause. So this is a video by a former student who read a short story and wanted to kind of make a video production of the plot, okay? So just a quick view. Whoop. Y'all clicking around. Here we go. Okay, so just a quick view. You can watch the whole video if you'd like. But I love this as an example because it shows you that it's not perfect, right? So, I mean, it's a cute video. It's applying the requirements, right? It's utilizing the text in a really meaningful way. He wrote and performed the song, so these are just options of what you can consider doing. And so another example would be, somebody wanted to create a PowerPoint for comfort food. This link is actually to a different assignment. So this is the Lone Star Voices blog. It's something that I curate and I share projects with students who are, open to that. So you can go on here and look at all these different options. This is somebody who he wrote a song and performed it in a YouTube video based on something we read in a Mexican American literature class. Bruno created a project that was more graphic design because he wanted to kind of push himself in that direction. And so you can see, again, it's the progress. And you can also see the paragraphs, that some folks shared. I didn't put everybody's paragraphs in, but they can at least give you a sense of the direction we're going for this overall project. So if we go back, you can click on any of these just to, again, get some examples, and there's a whole link to additional ones. But let's get into the writing, right? That's pretty important. The first paragraph is going to be essentially a description, right? So you'll describe your project in detail. And I want you to think about your colleagues, right? What do you want them to know before they view your work? So imagine we're opening a discussion post and we're reading your 3 paragraphs before we're looking at your video, at your PowerPoint, at your document. So you're giving us some context so we don't open it and go, well, what is this? I don't even know what this is. What is the medium, right? You're providing context, so help them understand what they're viewing. For example, if you chose to write a collection of poetry, why? Why did you do this? What was your process? Okay, so that's one paragraph. Y'all, the second paragraph I can't emphasize enough. This is where students typically lose points if they're going to lose points anywhere. This is where you're going to cite the authors. This is where the MLA and the research comes in. So you're going to provide in-text citations and explanations of quotes or ideas. A works cited is not needed unless you create something like an informational PowerPoint and you take images from the internet or you take information. You have to put that together in the last slide of a PowerPoint, something like that, because we're focusing mainly on the text within our course, so you wouldn't need a works cited for that, but if you move outside of that, you do. So this is a paragraph where you're kind of detailing, like, I read Choi's article and, she writes about this and she writes about that. And that really made me think of wanting to write a poem about this or something. This is where you're making that connection. First paragraph is describing, second paragraph is connecting to, that specific text or podcast or idea. Okay. The third paragraph is you. What did you learn in this? Did you think differently about something about the text or author or anything after completing the project? You know, how did the information affect your understanding of the topic? All kinds of, you know, this is, everybody's is going to be a little bit different, but this is where you come into the conversation. 150 points is what these paragraphs come out to. So you imagine they need to be detailed, they need to be very well written, right? So we're using Grammarly, we're using tutoring, we're doing all that we can to get the best possible grade there, right? Here are some other examples, right? So it's just the possibilities, and I show you some of these to show that we have the progress pictures, right? And then if you scroll down, you'll see all the assessment information, right? So you're going to actually complete a plan where you identify, this is what I'd like to do, this is my timeline. You're going to share that with me so that I can say, oh yeah, this is perfect, you're moving in the right direction, or hey, maybe think about adding this or changing that. So that's the plan. The final part, which is the artistic creation, so the PowerPoint or the recipe or whatever it is you create, is 75 points. And then those final paragraphs, 150 points, y'all. Yeah, that's a lot. And then you'll have discussion responses that you'll be required to complete. So you'll see how those points are broken down. So just take a look when you have a moment. But what I really encourage you to start with is just looking at the examples, because students have done all kinds of different things, whether it is in a British literature class, a composition class, a Mexican American literature class. It sometimes just helps you think of something that you might be interested in. You know, do you want to create a garden? Do you want to create a recipe? Up to you. You can always reach out in the Q&A discussion post area and kind of see if your idea is moving in the right direction. Or you can email me directly. But again, that plan is really going to give us an idea. So reach out if you have any questions. This is supposed to be a fun way to end the semester rather than writing, you know, a research paper or something like that. So good luck.